Hello, welcome to the Wedding Reporter podcast. Today we are talking about should I DIY my wedding florals? And we have a really cool guest today. Her name is Curry Malone, and she's a florist. And she owns Curry & Co. Events and Curry's Floral. And Curry & Co. Events is known for taking one idea and turning it into an amazing blueprint. With the help of her luxury event decor, high-end fabrics, and glamorous table accessories, Curry and her team can design anything to your heart desire. Their specialty is not being Their specialty is not being well versed in one particular design, but specializing in making any design custom. They can create free-form, modern, high-end, and classic floral designs, and they take pride in giving a stylish, unique, and creative approach to all of their wedding and social events in Nashville and beyond. Welcome, Curry. Hey, I'm so
Hello,
excited to
hello.
chat with you. I've known you for years now,
Yeah,
since
it's been a
before
long
I was
time.
even doing like Nashville Bride Guide. Wild. I feel like
Oh,
I helped you like design some like under the sea sort of the tablescape theme or something
oh my
at
God, are
one
you
point. Do you
serious?
remember that?
I rem I remember that.
It was really cool. I loved what you picked out. It was like this shimmery, like bluish,
Is
like
it the one
linen
that was
and
at like
like,
Nashville? Um, it was like Perfect Wedding Guide. Was it the
yeah,
one?
I think it was like a wedding show or something that you were like designing your tablescape, and it was
Yeah,
really cool. I loved it.
that was my intro into the luxury world, and I had this
Yes.
amazing concept of like, what if Ariel grew up, and what if she married the
Yes.
prince, and what would their wedding look like? And
Oh
we
my
just
gosh.
created magic. That's so crazy.
It was
Oh my
so
God,
cool.
that's
I
so long
loved it.
ago.
Well, it was memorable, and I've worked
Okay.
with a lot of people designing their tablescapes, and I don't remember them, and so that was one thing that I was like, she's so cool and creative.
Aw, thank you.
So, yeah, well, let's jump in. I would love to
Okay.
just hear in your own words, like, all about you and how you got started in weddings and, like, where you're at now.
Yeah. So, like you said before, my name's Curry, and I got started in the wedding and event industry about 11 years ago. And like everybody, I was just kind of thrown into it, where you start to help out a friend, and then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and before you know it, you're like, their wedding's over and people and guests are asking like for business cards, and you're like, what? No, wait a minute,
Mm,
like I'm just doing this for her because I love her, like not to do it for the rest of y'all. And it just turned into something magical. So I started out Curry & Co events doing wedding planning and floral, and it's so crazy because if I tell people the diabolical things that I used to do with flowers when I knew nothing, and the fact that I was like running the Sam's Club
yeah.
and flowers were not even processed. They weren't open. I was too scared to do my first bouquet, and my sister actually did it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. And then after that, I booked a few more weddings. And then I realized that, like, hey, I love being more creative and working with the florals
Hmm.
versus the like wedding planning can be really emotional because I am like an empath. And so I connect with every single bride, whether they want me to or not. Like, it's just natural for me to
Yeah.
just like, and we end up being like the best of friends afterwards. And I stay close to a lot of my clients because they become like family. And I end up doing baby showers and
Oh.
other things and doing their sisters' weddings or their cousins or nieces or whoever. So that's kind of how I started out. And then maybe about five or like about 5 years into just doing weddings, or maybe 4 years, I said, I need to learn more about floral design. And so I went to this 3 day conference in Maryland
Wow.
about 8 years ago. I don't know. It's been so long.
I know it's been
And
so
so,
long.
and that's how I learned to do so many different designs because I learned from multiple different women
That's
in
so
this 3 day
cool.
process, and then just kind of honing in on what I love the most. But like, it was great. It was the best floral designers from all over the US. And
Wow.
I got a chance to be with each and every single one of them and learned a different skill. And then started doing florals and learning more about them and started doing creative design. And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I was in healthcare and I was laid off from my job. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
this is God's way of saying it's time to move to the next level in your life. And I was terrified. Um,
Yeah.
and so during that time, I was just like finding my friends were like, hey, we heard you were laid off. Do you want to come and freelance with us? Because we need help. And I was like, yeah, because I need a check. So I did
Mhm.
freelancing for 1 year, realized very quickly that I did not like that. I mean, I don't mind helping out my friends
Right.
and things like that, but it's just like, no, like I want to have my knees by the time I hit 50, and this is a lot of
Yeah.
work. And I realized it was really hard to be a freelancer. And so that's why I'm very, very like, I treat my girls really well. I take care of them because I know how rough it can be.
Mhm.
And then I went into this space where it's like, again, like I thought I was in the luxury market. And then as I did more weddings and got deeper into it and just made different relationships, I realized that I was not even scratching the surface.
Wow. Yeah.
There's like a luxury and then there's like an ultra luxury and then
Oh,
there's like
yeah.
all these things. And then you're like, wow. So I've kind of like at this point in my life, I've kind of weave like I love doing weddings, but I also want clients to be able to have my florals in their home and not just for
Yeah.
their wedding day. And so we feel at Curry's Florals, which is our flower shop here in Nashville, that everybody deserves beautiful flowers regardless of your budget. So it doesn't mean that we're just
Mhm.
like giving out 99-cent arrangements. No, it just means that we can create beautiful vase arrangements for your home, for your smaller event, for smaller baby shower, things that you really couldn't, you weren't able to book us as far as Curry and Co events, but you have an opportunity now to go through the floral shop a way to get to us to be able to still get
Mhm.
your arrangements. And that's kind of how we are. So 10 years of doing floral and event design, and I am a brand new baby business owner with Curry's Florals. You can't see it because
Yay.
I have a background on, but if you go to Instagram at currysflorals.com, you can kind of see. And this, we wanted, the wedding industry can be really like stressful, chaotic. You're having to
Mhm.
pivot every 5 minutes. Like there's all these things that just happened. And so Curry's Florals is a place of peace, and
Yeah.
there's
Wow.
just this we call it comfortable luxury because you can go into some places and feel like you're not wanted there and gives
Mhm.
like little snooty vibes, and we're like, no, 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 we don't want that. We still want to bring high end florals to you. We want to focus on sustainability. All of our glass is recycled glass. We compost. We
Wow.
do everything that we can to reduce our carbon footprint, and we've learned that recently through working with a program through Vanderbilt
That's
on
awesome.
sustainability and innovation. And so we wanted to combine all of that to give you Curry's Florals. So when you come in here and you walk in, you're going to be like, everybody always says, it's so peaceful in here. And it's so just
Yeah.
like, and I wanted it to be a safe space. So even if like you want to come in, get some flowers and just sit down for a second and chat with us, like we're okay with that. That's what I wanted this place to be. Um,
Mhm.
and so, yeah, and that's where Curry and Co events is now, where we are working on telling the story. Okay. So, because
Right.
people think, oh, Curry and Co and Curry Florals is the same thing. It's not.
No.
Curry and Co events is creative design, creative production, and florals, right? And
Mhm.
so with that, it Curry and Co is an entire movement. I feel
Ooh,
like
it
by the
is.
time you are with me, you left feeling great about what your wedding day looks like. You
Mhm.
have knowledge. Okay. So you walk away and you don't feel like you've been taken advantage of financially.
Totally.
Everything was communicated with you.
Love
Your
it.
feelings were honored and respected, and we're not pushy and we're not like, this is our agenda. It's like, no, no, no. I
Mhm.
have one day to get this right for you. And I
Yeah.
want you to walk away and feel like this was the absolute best experience. And Curry went above and beyond. And this, whatever I thought I wanted, she kind of created this to the next level. And
Yeah.
so for me, communication is like the most important thing in my business and in my life. Like I am very transparent. I communicate. Sometimes I overly communicate and have to know when to pull it back in. But I want
Mhm.
people to be knowledgeable and have the freedom to make decisions, and um, while also like being mindful of like what you've invested into it financially and not like take advantage of that either. So
Yeah.
that's where we are now. So we're working on telling the story, and
Oh,
we are
yeah.
working on some great marketing material for everybody to see, and it'll be ready
Yay.
in another month. And
Yay.
so really just focusing on telling the story about Curry and Co events in Curry's Florals and the sustainability
Yes.
story, because that's really, really important too for us. And
Hmm.
the fact that 60% of our product is all local. So we have
Love
partnered
it.
with local farmers here in Nashville and in Kentucky to get the most sustainable, like no pesticides used product that we can, so that we can bring safe florals into your home and
I
that we
love
reduce our
that.
carbon footprint. So we're trying. We really are. I'm like, I feel like I'm a
Hmm.
one man show, but I do have two amazing employees that are like, oh my God, they're exactly what I prayed for.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. And like, I'm sure being able to like reduce your carbon footprint and everything, like that's almost a harder route to go. You have to be more choosy and more specific with the vendors you work with and your process and the way that you do things, at least from what I would imagine the process might be, instead of,
Hmm.
just going the way that a lot of the other world is going as far as florals go with the pesticides and things like that and just
Yeah.
having all this waste. So I think that's really cool that you made that decision for your business to kind of choose this other path for people.
Yeah.
And I think that also like attracts the right customers to you as well, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
It is.
So,
And we're so grateful, because looking back at it, I'm just like, I wasn't doing anything.
mhm.
I can remember a wedding that maybe about 2 years ago, where at the end of the night, like all the flowers went in the garbage, it went in the dumpster. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? So, but, but I
Yeah.
felt myself moving into this realm, not just through the program that I finished, but also because at the end, so last year when I had no additional knowledge and had no additional help, I still felt guilty as a florist, just throwing stuff away. People
Right.
say, oh, go to nursing homes. That's a secret myth. Okay. It's not real. I've worked in long term care in nursing homes literally for 7 years. And that stuff doesn't work anymore. You can't just leave it there, because
Mhm.
you're still extending the life of the product, but it's still going in the trash at the end of the day. And it's
Mhm.
not being composted, because I would never tell people at my job that I was a florist. So when other florists would come in and
Right.
bring product, I would be like, oh God, they're going to make me throw this away. Because they're like, Curry's a
Mm.
florist. And so
Yeah.
that doesn't work. So what we did in the past, and we still do at the end of the night, we give our clients a choice to like bring us tons of different vases from their home, or to just get like recycled vases, or buy some at Dollar Tree. We don't care. Just bring us whatever vases you want. And we will just kind of like make mock arrangements on site at the end of the night at breakdown, so you can
That's
give to your
cool.
guests to take home. So
I
we,
love that.
yeah, we don't want anything to go to waste. And I mean, we try
Mhm.
to be smart about it. Like certain things are cut so small that you can't repurpose it. But
Yeah.
anything that we pull from an arbor or a large arrangement or an installation or anything like that, we try to make those end of the night bouquets. And it's like, oh my God, it's going to take longer for breakdown. But it's like, just doing that means so much more to the customer and the guest.
Mhm.
I mean, you want to see some guests get violent? Have some drunk guests see you throw away flowers in their face. They're going
Oh
to be
my
like,
gosh. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
no, I cannot take it. I was
Oh
accosted one
my
time.
gosh. No. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
And ever
Yeah.
since then, I was like, y'all go to the back. Don't do it in front of everybody.
Yeah. Seriously. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. Yeah. So the decisions you're making are just right on and really awesome. So I really want to talk to you though about DIY florals for your wedding. Like,
Yeah.
there's this big topic. It's like, should you or shouldn't you? And so I just would love to hear all of your thoughts and knowledge about that, as far as like, if you do, like, what are the things you need to watch out for,
Yeah.
and maybe why you shouldn't do it.
So here's the thing. I'm like Switzerland. I'm kind of neutral when it comes to
Yeah,
that. Okay.
I know.
The reason I say that is because at the end of the day, when that marriage is done, and that when that wedding is done, excuse me, you have to be able to live.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Nashville Electric does not care that you wanted peonies. Like,
Yes.
Nobody cares about, you know what I mean? So for me, I feel
Right.
like you make the best decision based on the financial support that you have, what's
Mm-hmm.
most important to you. Um, and then also, are you a creative yourself? So if you
Right.
go around knitting stuff and creating your own arrangements and feeling motivated to go to Trader Joe's or someplace and pull flowers, even before I was a florist, just almost 20 years ago, I every payday, it didn't matter how small my paycheck was, I would go to Publix. I would get myself one special meal. I would get flowers from the flower section, and I would get the latest copy of Veranda, like clockwork,
I love
like
that.
clockwork. And
I
so for
love
me,
that.
there's these signs where you know whether or not you're creative. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's hard because there's a lot of misleading information out there on TikTok. I mean, these people are
Yeah.
killing me with like, let me show you how to make a luxury floral arrangement from Trader Joe's flowers. And I'm like,
Mm. Yeah. There's a lot more that goes into it than just a 5-second TikTok clip.
I know, and it's a lot, but you have some women that have the capacity and some girls that have the capacity to be able to do that. They are
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable, they've done tons of research, they're really creative, they have other creative girlfriends that are willing to help them.
Yeah.
They are, flowers is important, but the food is probably more important, or that dream dress
Mm-hmm.
or other things like that. So it's all based on priority. It's like,
Right.
what is most important? And here's the big thing that people need to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to curse on here? I don't know.
You can if you
Oh,
want.
nobody gives a shit what you want to do. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do what you want to do, because at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, there's so much crap going on in this world. There's
Yeah.
so much stuff, like we're trying to stay afloat mentally. We're trying to have this sense of normalcy. Nobody remembers the last 3 years. Like COVID, it's like those COVID years, like we all
Mm-hmm.
forgot about them. And Pinterest is a myth. Pinterest is an over
Mm-hmm.
edited, like it's great for inspiration, but what happens is like when you take your stuff, my work begins the minute that you send me that Pinterest link, and I haven't
Mm-hmm.
even charged you yet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
And so I'm having to take all these things that you love and you think is so perfect for your wedding, and I have to translate them into reality. And people don't know that, because it's like we have to
Yes.
take into consideration your time of year that you're getting married and what's in season.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to look at, it's like you want that design, but that's specifically for a rectangle table. So
Mm-hmm.
one great thing, I just want to go back to one thing about Curry and Co-Events. One
Yeah.
thing that we do now, that we've started and been doing it for the last 2 years, is that before we even talk about florals, we talk about creative design. You
Yeah.
don't even know what you want. You don't even know
Mm-hmm.
what you want. You see these images, but you really don't know. So we
Yeah.
offer a service where it's called our creative design services. And so what we'll do is you pay a specific amount, and what comes with that is the first thing we do is meet at your venue. We do a full site visit, walkthrough, and now we're building out your floor plan. And then the next following day, we go immediately to the rental company, and now we're choosing linens and flatware and chargers and all of these things. Now
Mm-hmm.
that we figured out the design, we know, because you can't have, tall arrangements and the ceilings low in the venue. Like there's just all these things
Right.
that you have to see. So once we get all that together, now you get a design board. Now we
Mm-hmm.
bring all of your vision to life. Now that you have that, I have what I need to do an actual proposal for you, because I know what kind of tables you want, how many, all the things, what type of arbor, what can fit in the venue, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to DIY, they think that they are saving money, but sometimes you're creating more issues for like your day of coordinator on the back end and you don't realize it. Or you go to the venue, you're like, oh, my venue has a coordinator on site. It's not the same. And
Nope.
sometimes,
It's
if they're
not.
nice enough, they will help you with logistics, but they don't have to. They're not obligated to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I
Right.
think DIY is you sitting down, writing out what's most important to you, looking to see how difficult this is and how much time is it going to take out of my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then making a conscious decision. And there's wonderful places like, shout out to Nashville Flower Market. You know, I know I'm here to
Right.
talk about me,
Totally.
but like I have wonderful people and partners and friends in this industry that I'm able to say, hey, you may not be a great fit for me, but let me tell you who is. I am
Right.
totally like that. You know what I mean? I'm
I love
totally
that.
like, go there, or this person will help you with whatever you need. So I try to be open and transparent with people and communicate as much as I can. But when it
Hmm.
comes to DIY, you just have to know what you're getting yourself into. Because
Yeah.
if you wake up and like one bride, I remember a couple years ago, she freaked out because she ordered all of her flowers from samsclub.com
Hmm. Oh
and
boy.
put everything in the fridge, emptied out her fridge, no food, put
Oh
her flowers in
man.
the fridge, forgot that there was some like fresh fruit somewhere in the pull-out drawers or something, but like the gases from the fresh fruit helps your flowers die quicker. That's why we say don't put your
Whoa.
flowers in a regular fridge. Plus, it's supposed to
Wow.
be a specific temperature, all these things. So she had all these
Wow.
white roses that were then brown.
Oh no, that makes me
Mm-hmm.
so sad.
Yeah,
Oh.
it happens. And so here
Yeah.
I'm like, we can help you, but if you can't afford me, I'm just gonna let you know, run over to this place and run over to
Hmm.
imports and you buy as many white roses as you can and
Right.
squeeze on the heads. And if they're super, super soft, they're old flowers. If they're hard, they're fresh. Grab you as many
Hmm.
fresh white stems as you can. And I try to help. And even though I'm not making any money off of that, um,
Hmm.
I helped her and that made me feel better,
Right.
you know? And so, and then later on, it was like, hey, Cray, we have an event. You helped me so much on my wedding that I
Yeah.
would love to get, you know, so you create these
Right.
relationships. But um,
Hmm. Yeah,
DIY
absolutely.
can be a little rough sometimes.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why hiring professionals like you said, I had no idea that fruit like made flowers brown. And so it's like, that's not common knowledge. That's the knowledge of a florist and the knowledge of somebody who has put in the years of work to understand the best way to go about floral design and
Mm-hmm.
making the best experience possible for brides, for couples. Like, and so to just have you're paying for their experience and also just like even digging in on like installation, setup, tear down, like prep and everything. There's so much that goes into floral design.
Yes.
That's like, do you want to be like on the morning of your wedding, like arranging florals, like cutting stems, like I
And
don't
people don't
know.
know.
Like,
They really
yeah.
think that we're trying to create these horror stories to give them some sort of like false thing so that they don't do it themselves. No. I sat there and watched the bride. I sat there and watched a bride break down her own wedding. Why? Because the caterer, was not in the contract of like, so she got married in Alabama, and where she got married in Alabama, there was not a lot of rental companies. So we had to bring things over from please be seated here. And
Yeah.
even though you picked out chargers and plates, the caterer was like, we should have gotten those things from you. So we're not bussing these tables because you didn't rent these plates from us. So I'm watching her drag her wedding dress in the mud in her backyard
Oh,
because she had this tent wedding in the backyard. And it was heartbreaking because we are trying to take things off the tables and do these kind of things. And it's like, I can't, like, it's in my contract that I don't like bus tables. Like,
right. Yeah.
plates are
That's not
supposed
your
to be
job.
washed. You
Yeah.
know, it's like we will rent these things for you. We will deliver them and we will pick them up just like a rental company is. But they,
Yeah.
just like a rental company, things have to come back washed. We can't have, you know, food. And so it's just like her family. And then everybody like went out at the end of the night and left her. And I felt
Oh,
terrible.
that's
But
so
I was like,
sad.
I had to set boundaries for myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a wedding tomorrow. Like, I'm here breaking down your wedding at 12 o'clock at night, and we have to jump back on the road at 6 a.m. because we have to be back in Nashville for another wedding
Mhm.
that next
Wow.
morning at Hotel 21C. So it was very eventful, but it was sad because it's like she chose to hire a friend and not a wedding planner
Right.
and
Mhm.
not go over the logistics and say, oh, I do things for my corporate company all the time. I know what I'm doing. And it's like, no,
Mhm.
it's a different world. So yeah, DIY is
Yeah,
tough, but
for sure.
it can be rewarding too to sit back and
Mhm.
look at what you did on your own and how
Right.
beautiful it came out. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, I have seen a trend of like, the night before your wedding, you and your front like bridesmaids like go and create your bouquets together and make it almost like this experience and everything. And like that's kind of fun, but like there's so much more to it that goes into it. And it's like, are those bouquets gonna be secure? Like, are you gonna have like leaves falling out or like petals like down the aisle and like there's a special way and a craft of doing what you do
Yeah.
that everyday people just don't have because they just don't have the knowledge for it. And so I'm all
Yeah.
about hiring a florist and doing it that way because you're paying for expertise. You're going to get a quality product back, and
Yep.
you know, yeah,
And that
for
care
sure.
and love was taken. And,
Oh yeah.
it's so weird because one of the learning things that I've had to do is I've had to learn there's a difference between retail florals and wedding
Mm,
florals.
wow.
And
Yeah.
so even me being in this world for 10 years, there's still things that I'm learning. And so I feel like I'm in a really great place to where I don't have to. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I know it all. I don't need to continue to learn. No, I learn every single day.
I
And I
love that.
don't want to learn because like out of mistakes you do learn, but like I want things to be open, beautiful, full. And that's what you want
Hmm.
for wedding flowers. But for retail, you don't. You want things to
Right.
be
You want them
fresh,
to
clothes,
bloom. Yeah.
tight, let them bloom at the
Hmm.
person's home. So I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay. So I like learned that
Wow.
the second week. And I was just like, and it's great because I have friends who like own shops. And so they're like, if I have questions and things like that. So I'm a very like I'm just an open person and I'm just like, whatever, like we'll learn, we'll figure it out, we'll do this, we'll do
Yeah.
that. And so yeah, but
That's really
DIY
cool.
can be beautiful and dangerous at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So I have one last question for you. How do you
sure.
know you're finding a reputable florist when you're hiring someone?
So the first thing I would say, I used to say things like make sure they have a website. And then that one I don't say so much because I unfortunately have had people steal my work and put it on their sites as if
Oh
they were
my
mine.
gosh. No. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, but what the kicker was, it wasn't just me. It was like three other florists that I know that person freelanced with and took their images and
No.
put it on the website. So, and then I remember in the beginning years when I was doing amazing job, but I just didn't have enough money or the time to create this magical website for myself because I wanted it to be so perfect.
Yeah.
But that is still a basic rule of thumb, checking their social media, um, checking for reviews, Google reviews, see what people are saying. Because Google reviews may look good on one place, but if you go to Yelp, you find out that they have tons of crappy, not so great reviews.
Hmm.
Then also, you want to, when you talk to them, you want to see if they're knowledgeable. You want to
Right.
listen for keywords, like if they are talking about flowers being available in your season or when you're getting married. Um, you want to check they're tagged. So when you go to
Yeah, that's a
Instagram, not just
great
looking at the
way.
first one, but clicking on tag because that's the stuff that you're gonna see that they may not like. Because I'm you can see a lot of tag stuff that I do, and it's not on my main page because it just maybe doesn't fit the aesthetic, right? Of
Right.
like the
Hmm.
feeling and overall mood that I'm trying to create on the main page. But even
Yeah.
checking on that, you can see who they've worked with, if all this is like freelance work or if this is like images that they've taken from other florists, like you'll be able to do your research and see. Um,
Hmm.
Also ask around, talk to your planner and say, hey,
Yeah.
have you ever worked with this person before? I've had a planner tell me, oh, Curry, you're like a celebrity. And I'm like, why? And she was like, because everybody knows about you, but nobody really sees you. And I'm like, because I'm working, girl. I'm tired. I don't have time to go out and market with y'all or go to all these different things. Like, I'm exhausted. How are y'all not
Oh,
tired? And
yeah.
so, and I was like, no, like, it just means I need to show my face a little bit more and go live a little bit more so that people know that I'm a real person. And also, like, you want to
Hmm.
look for florists maybe videos of them creating arrangements online.
Oh, that's good. I
Because a
like that.
lot of people say that they're floral designers, and guess what? They haven't touched florals in years because their
Yeah.
freelancers are doing all the work. Girl,
Wow.
this podcast could go on for hours.
It could. I know. Wow. That was like such great answers to, and yeah, those were great ways to find out, who they really are and to look at those tagged pictures. I think that's such great advice. So yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. And then, okay, let's wrap it up. I
Okay.
just would love to know, like, tell everyone like where they can find you online and socials and all the things, because
Yeah.
even if you're not in the Nashville area and you want a really awesome, dope wedding with amazing florals, like, you need to know how to contact Curry.
Yeah, so we've traveled and we're also going to Sonoma, California for the first time this year. So I'm so
Oh
excited about that.
yeah.
So
Cool.
we get to go and visit San Francisco a little bit and then head out there for a beautiful wedding. So we've done Atlanta before, we've done Memphis, we've done Alabama. I even traveled to Miami before because I'm originally from there. So I'm really
So
connecting
cool.
with a lot more venues out there to be able to provide services, and I'll come up the street too. So it doesn't matter if you want me to be local or if you want me to travel, but you can find, if you're interested in creative design, like total design, all the things plus florals, check us out at Curry and Co Events on
Mhm.
Facebook and Instagram. And then our website is curryandcoevents.com. And if you're like, I want some beautiful flowers in my house, I have an old vase that I want to put some beautiful things, you can come to our stem bar, and that's going to be Curry's Floral. So that is going to be all of your vase arrangements or bouquets, wrap bouquets. We have sweets and treats in here for you to get gifts. Next week, we have all of our inventory finally arriving. So we'll have more
Oh,
of
fun.
a little area for you to be able to shop. We also are providing a few plants.
Ooh,
So
I
I'm
like
excited for
it.
that, and
That's exciting.
ceramics and gifts and all the things. And we're located here in one city in Nashville. So if you've ever heard of Sandbar, or Avo, or any of my wonderful neighbors, if you come down Charlotte Avenue to one city, you will find us in this beautiful turquoise container making all the beautiful
Yes.
things and listening to Phoebe Bridgers or whatever our whatever our things are for the day. Like, we just come in here. Today it's like um 2000s R&B hits.
Yes, I love
So we're like
it.
listening to Ja Rule
Throwback
and
Thursday.
yes, yes, literally. Yeah, it's so
Yes.
cool. And so yeah, follow us online and just come and see us. Even if you want to drop in and
Yes.
say, "Hey, Curry, I don't get paid this week, but when I get paid next week, I'm coming back to see you. I just wanted to stop in and check the
Mhm.
place out." We don't care. As
Yes.
long as you
I
have good
love it.
vibes, we don't care.
I know. Yeah, your
Yeah.
shop is so welcoming. I've had your florals in my house. I love them so much. They make me happy and smile anytime I see them. And so,
Oh,
yeah, I was your second customer. I feel like I'm a
yes.
celebrity now because I was your second customer.
I love it. And I mean, it
So,
was great because you were
yeah,
patient with me too.
it
Like,
was
we were
really
learning things
fun.
for the first time, and
Yeah.
we didn't have a chance to do a dry run. So you ladies were our dry runs, and it felt
Mm,
good. And
yeah.
we absolutely love it. So the only difference is all of our flowers are moved into the cooler now,
Okay.
for longevity. Because when they're open, we're
Awesome.
just that whole open concept of having flowers. It happens in Europe, but it doesn't do well in Nashville with our terrible weather, unfortunately,
Yeah,
and being in a
for
container.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so come and
That's
see
so
us.
cool. Yeah, come and see Curry. She's so awesome. So thank you so much for taking the time today. Have a good one.
All right, love.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedding Reporter podcast. I hope you learned a little bit and had fun today. To find more resources and podcast episodes, visit NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more information. And as always, click the subscribe button and leave us a review. Until next time, I'm Alyssa DeChico, signing off.